Roses are red, violets are blue, one is dead, and so are you. I'm John Rentham with a retro view of My Bloody Valentine, the 1981 original, aka Where in the World is Harry Warden, whose name gets dropped about 100 times during the 90-minute runtime of this movie. I kid, it's actually an overflated number, it's only 99 times, but that makes sense because he's central to the story of this film. And if you haven't seen this one, you may have seen the 2009 remake, which I would argue is it's a little bit better. Yeah, the ending was a little bit bonkers. And the ending of this one's a little bit, okay, just kind of, let's just throw that in there just to wrap things up because we have no idea what the fuck to do anymore. And shit, we didn't come up with a proper conclusion. So shit, just do that. Make that guy the killer for just that, just a simple reason. So anyway, you may have seen the remake. If you've seen this one, then you may know that it's a bit underappreciated. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys think this movie's underappreciated? Especially as a 1980s slasher? Because I think it is. The practical effects still hold up. Yeah, the acting is ridiculous. The romance subplot, while central, is just kind of, really badly acted and everything. And the acting isn't perfect. And it is your basic everyday, premise when you really break it down. But I think that overall the execution was, pretty goddamn good. The director, the cast crew, the, effects department did what they could with the practical effects and some pretty good gore work. And also, the idea of a person in a mining outfit stalking people with the headlamp and everything and the, and the big old mask, and the pickaxe, that's some pretty, scary stuff, especially in a small mining town like Valentine Bluffs. So, 20 years ago, there was a man named Harry Warden who, along with a few other people, was trapped after a mine explosion while a Valentine's dance was occurring. And they find him a number of days later. He was eating some of the body parts of the victims, which makes sense, as to why he would maybe go insane from that. I mean, being trapped at that point, not knowing if you're going to make it out, yeah, that would drive you nuts. And then the next Valentine's, he decides to get revenge on the supervisors. And somebody witnesses this, and that kind of ties into a little bit later, though we don't find that out until a little bit later, even though it's very obvious who the killer is. Very fucking obvious. And especially if you've seen any horror movies. And this is recounted by one of the old townsfolks who says, hey, the reason we haven't had a dance in 20 goddamn years, Harry kills people, put their hearts in, boxes and basically terrorize the town and said, if you have another Valentine's Day dance, I'm going to come back. I'm going to keep coming back. I'm going to keep killing. And he did. Well, somebody did, but in his name. Ooh. And basically 20 years later, a bunch of teens or, college-age kids. I mean, it's really hard to tell. I guess they're college-age kids, but what's kind of hilarious is they try to make it seem like, oh, all they're doing is just, drinking. They're just drinking and mining and doing a whole bunch of stupid shit. And there's a typical nerdy guy. There's, the girl that is torn between two guys, like her current boyfriend and an ex-boyfriend that comes back into town by the name of TJ. The police, discover that, murders start happening again. Like, in the beginning, this one girl gets dispatched and her heart gets cut out, after she tries to have sex with a guy in the mine outfit in a mine shaft. So, yeah, he cuts out her heart, mails it, and everybody's freaking out and everything, and they want to, try and figure out why Harry Warden is back, how Harry Warden's back. Because 20 years ago, you'd think the guy would be old enough where they could catch the guy. So obviously it's got to be somebody different, but they can't do that. They can't think like that because it's got to be the same guy. Nobody can be that sadistic. Nobody could have possibly witnessed, this whole thing and maybe, been warped and everything that they had to, that they had to carry on Harry's legacy, which is exactly what fucking happened. So in this, you got TJ, you got Axel, you got Sarah. And Axel's obviously the killer because, of course, he's a fucking killer. They keep trying to make it like it's TJ because he just came back to town and suddenly these murders start happening. There's, a lady gets killed in a tumble dryer, which actually was kind of goddamn funny. The freaking romance subplot is just really, really badly done. There was, the dance is canceled after, the lady is found in the tumble dryer. That's how I would cancel a dance based on that. And then, a guy basically tries to play a prank by having, a person, a dummy in a mining outfit spring its pickaxe out. And he does it a couple times, and then the third time he does open the door. It's not, wait, it didn't come out. And then he opens it up, and then he gets gutted and dragged away and everything. And, that's a pretty hilarious death right there. That guy also looked like he was about 85 years old when he was trying to play that prank. So I'm amazed he actually, was, he didn't have to take a nap after every single take. So the kids decide to have a party because, that's the first thing you do when you're near a mine that you could go down and, have some fun or whatever. And you have a party at this one mess hall while a killer's out on the loose. And the, police chief's like, no, don't have that. The mayor's like, no, don't have that. What the fuck are you doing? What the hell's going on? Like, you don't do that. This guy gets drowned in hot dog water, but not by a chocolate starfish. If you get that reference, I love you guys. One person quoted, please stop it. I just don't care anymore. And it seemed like the movie stopped caring after a bit. Now, that was because Sarah was tired of TJ and Axel fighting. And so the guy that gets drowned in the hot dog water, basically in the giant vat of hot dogs that they're boiling, which that does look gross. It didn't even look like hot dogs were fully cooked. He gets decapitated. His head gets found in the fridge later. Everybody surviving decides to go into the mine just to have some fun and everything. Because a couple of them are minors, with an E, by the way, I should emphasize. And they decide to just have fun, show the girls, the mines and the abandoned part and everything. And gee, I wonder who's going to attack. Oh no, it's Axel. Axel's attacking. But we can't possibly know it's Axel, even though it could be only one of two people. It has to be Harry Warden, who would have been probably, I would say, at least 60 years old, maybe 70 years old by that point. It's just fucking hilarious. Well, I would say probably about 60. So there's no way that guy would have been able to kill all those people, even with old man strength. It's just fucking silly to imagine that it would have been him. So they yell, Dave is dead, and it's one of the funniest readings of a line, in slasher movie history, or at least in the 80s. It's just fucking funny. It's the guy didn't quite believe what he was saying. Dave is dead? And then TJ and Axel go to the rescue, even though it's very obvious where this is going to go. A couple gets killed by some just metal tool, which was kind of hilarious. One guy gets dispatched with a nail type gun, and then yelling upon yelling upon yelling upon yelling, and they're battling in this one part of the mine or whatever on rail cars, which was kind of hilarious. And then they get to this shifty part of the mine where if you mess with anything, any of these supports, everything could collapse. So Sarah and TJ are remaining, and the police chief manages to get there with everybody because he finds out, oh no, Harry Warden's dead, and he reveals that at the end. He's been dead for 5 years, so who the fuck is it? They suddenly find out who the fuck it is, and it turns out, oh, wait, Axel, why? Why is it you? And then they knock him out, he gets buried, they manage to get out, and then he's like, Sarah, be my bloody Valentine, Harry got you, daddy, all this stuff and everything. It's just so silly. It's the guy just basically went mad because he witnessed his father getting killed by Harry Warden. Sure, it makes sense. I mean, whatever. I mean, kids can be traumatized, they could do some stuff, but it just throws you a curveball right there at the end, expecting you to believe it. This curveball didn't work as well as one they did Sleepaway Camp, which I did a retro review of, and if you want to check that out, please check out the playlist. So yeah, My Bloody Valentine, not necessarily the worst thing in the world, underappreciated, maybe hasn't aged well in some aspects, but still pretty damn fun overall. Let me know what you thought of this movie in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.